I started this painting as a completely different tutorial. I was testing a brand new Dutch pour paint recipe, but halfway through, everything went wrong. The colors were beautiful, but the composition just wasn't working. So instead of giving up, I changed direction and turned it into an experiment. Today, we're comparing two Dutch pours using the exact same colors and recipe. One is a traditional Dutch pour where the colors are covered with the base paint, and the other one is blown out directly without covering. And one of them completely surprised me when it dried. The results were honestly unexpected. So, I ran out of Liquitex pouring medium, which I was using for my previous Dutch pours, but I had golden pouring medium gloss and decided to pair it with golden GAC 800 to help prevent any crazing. I mixed these two with flot Floetrol, and voila, I had the absolute perfect consistency. GAC 800 is very thin, so no water was needed. And I have to say the consistency of this mixture was incredible. The paint levels beautifully. I had these amazing vivid colors and a stunning neutral gray base ready to go on a 20 by 24 inch canvas. But as I started blowing out the paint, something felt off. The colors were gorgeous, but the composition wasn't flowing the way I wanted. I was getting these concentrations of paint in sections instead of the blending that I love with this technique. I wasn't giving up that easily. I tried adjusting the composition and removing some paint, blowing it out again, but nothing felt right. So I made the decision every fluid artist eventually faces: scrape it or keep fighting it. I decided to scrape it. Surprisingly, the gray color didn't change that much after collecting everything back into the container. I love a good challenge, so I pivoted the tutorial. Instead of stopping the video, I grabbed two older 12 by 12 canvases that were already damaged from previous videos. The green one hurt a bit because I loved it, but some paint had spilled over it. Anyway, I thought this could actually be a great comparison video. My first canvas will be a more traditional Dutch pour, where the colors are covered under the base paint. And canvas number 2 will be blown out without covering the colors. First step is straining that base paint in case there was any dry paint from the canvas or my table. As you can see, I had no time to prepare these canvases with tape around them or prime them with gesso. I just went for it. The first color is Liquitex Iridescent White, followed by Amsterdam Light Rose, and I'm drizzling it because it's an opaque color. I don't want it to cover the colors underneath. Then we have Queen Magenta from Liquitex, Next is Amsterdam Ultramarine Violet, which serves as a transition color for Liquitex Dioxazine Purple for a touch of dramatic richness. And finally, Amsterdam Phthalo Blue, which is a very strong, highly pigmented blue. A little goes a long way. I'm adding extra base paint around. This is neutral gray from Triart, and then blowing it carefully over my paddle of colors. At this point, I thought I had completely lost the colors, and then I realized they were still hiding under the base. There they are. I had to blow in the opposite direction to reveal them. Now, same process as with the first canvas. Strain the paint and spread it with a spatula. Normally, I don't like spreading my base paint with a spatula or the hair dryer, but this recipe has GAC 800, so I was confident that it would level without any bumps or cracks. This is where the experiment gets interesting. The colors are placed exactly the same way, but this time I'm not covering them with base paint.
The storm has subsided, but I am divided between life and this hollow world. But
Without the base layer on top, the air from the hair dryer interacts directly with the colors. And right away, you can see that the movement looks different. The colors separate more dramatically and you get stronger ribbons of color moving across the canvas and more defined edges. I actually wasn't expecting this version to be the stronger one, but as the composition started opening up, it quickly became my favorite.
waiting for you. Oh my God, shine your light into these shadows, and I will
Once both paintings were finished, I let them dry completely before comparing the final result. The cover Dutch pour unfortunately dried with a few pinholes. My guess is that this happened because I reused an older canvas that already had a painting underneath. I can't even remember what ingredients I used on that one, and I didn't reprime it. But the uncovered version dried beautifully. The color movement stayed very clean, and the transitions between the pinks, blues, and purples created a lot of depth. Sometimes the unexpected version ends up being the one you love the most. This experiment ended up teaching me two things. First, sometimes when a painting isn't working, it's better to stop and change direction instead of forcing it. And second, small changes in technique, like whether or not you cover the colors, can completely change the final result. I'm also really excited about this new paint recipe because the paint spreads beautifully and levels really nicely on the canvas. Now I'm curious what you think. Which version do you prefer, the traditional Dutch pour with the colors covered, or the one blown out directly without covering? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy this kind of fluid art experiments and comparisons, don't forget to subscribe because I test a lot of different techniques, materials, and recipes here on the channel. I'll see you in the next one.